You know these moments when everything seems to be pushing against your creative flow? When each obstacle feels like a wall instead of a stepping stone? Well, thank you and welcome to La Mesa Talks again, where we transform those walls into windows and obstacles into opportunities. My name is Oscar Mota, and for the past 7 years, I've been exploring the beautiful chaos of creativity with my team at La Mesa. Today, we're diving deep into something that every creative soul needs, but few master: the art of creative resilience. And I'm beyond thrilled to welcome Luma Maklouf, an extraordinary entrepreneur who embodies creative resilience in every sense. As the co-founder of HL Food and the creative force behind multiple ventures, she's turned this passion of nurturing soul food into a thriving reality. With at least 10 brands, you can see her relentless spirit of creation. She's an expert into changing challenges into innovation. And what makes Luma's story particularly fascinating is that she doesn't just build it. She's remarkable in that blend of creativity and passion and that unwavering commitment. So grab your favorite source of inspiration, if it's coffee, if it's tea, and let's dive back into this conversation about creative resilience. Luma, thank you so much to be here.
Thank you for having me.
For me, it's a great honor and it's a pleasure to host you in this beautiful space that we're trying to create, because again, as I've repeatedly mentioned, this space that we're creating here at La Mesa Talks is also founded on the people that we've loved and admired and we've seen, and they know what we're doing, right? Because we want this platform to be something useful for young creatives, and particularly young female creatives, into understanding that you have to hustle, you have to transform yourself, you have to learn, you have to listen, and most importantly, you just have to start, right? Again, like I said, I've known you for years, and I've seen the transformation and the growth of not only your personal ventures with Haider, which is your better half, your partner, and your husband, but basically on everything you touch, right? But it just didn't happen just because it happened, right? As long you're very talented, that we know, but there's secrets also over there, and this is why you're here. We're going to talk about creative resilience. What does creative resilience mean to you, right? So, how do you think it shaped your path, your journey?
First, thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be here, and I love everything you guys are doing, so thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Creative resilience to me hasn't always meant much. You know, I didn't know that creativity and resilience throughout my career. I didn't know that they go hand in hand. Now I'm realizing that, especially as a Palestinian. I knew I was Palestinian ever since I was a little girl. I grew up in the States, unfortunately. But, you know, my parents must have sat us down at one point and said, you know, you're Palestinian, this is how it is. Or they didn't, right? They just put on the news that was blaring 24/7. You know, we were so far away and we were just keeping up with it the best that we could. So, and then we started protesting from when I was very little. So I learned that resilience. Right? And creativity, you learn it along the way when you're growing up. And what's creativity to you back then? It's art and acting and, music. And that's art. That's the form of being creative. That's as far as creativity goes. Now, as I grew and as my inner growth as a Palestinian would take over, because that's all I knew. That was in my identity most of the time. I realized when I became an entrepreneur that I can be creative in so many ways all the time. And, you know, and it was something that's innate in us. And we can grow it. I really do believe that we can grow it. But when, you know, the last few years happened with Sheikh Jarrah and with October 7th and, you know, Gaza, I am using my resilience more and more within my business. So you can be creative by simply launching a poster line that's dedicated to a maiz in Palestine and imagining it being in Gaza or in Al-Quds, in Jerusalem, where I'm from. You can do it by, I don't know, making watermelon cookies and selling them. You can do it by collabing with, I can do it by collabing with, a Palestinian chef or an oil supplier from Jenin and incorporating that in my dishes. I can be creative in different ways and continue to be resilient against the occupation and be Palestinian.
That's something very beautiful, and something that we admire and just we foster very much is you need to live your identity through and through, regardless, right? And you need to be true. If you're a Muslim, be a good Muslim. If you're a Palestinian, be a good Palestinian. If you're a Colombian, be a good Colombian, right?
It's our brand.
Yeah, it's part of your brand, right? But there's something also that's nurtured, and bringing your dad here, Allah yarhamu, he was also a creative force into just keeping you guys entertained and just keeping you showing you stuff, like in Chicago, how you met, like the guy, remember the story you told me about the Skites lady or it was the paletas something.
Paletas, yeah.
Where you
I will never
got in
forget.
touch with that.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is a wonderful thing, right? And this is how truly globalization and resilience and transformation, that this power comes through. You have a massive, massive, massive creative energy. Like, it goes through you, again, by nature and, of course, by nurture. But how do you maintain, with all the list that we know, the adversities that you had in the world, against your identity, against I don't want to use the wrong your people, because it's the people, but also on a personal note, on your businesses, the kitchen is broken. How do you create that? How do you maintain that creative energy when facing this insurmountable adversities?
Yeah, the last 16 months have been probably some of the hardest months of my life, if not the hardest. And, I don't only have 5 businesses, 6 businesses, kitchens, restaurants. I have 2 little girls at home, and a husband as well. So it's been very, very challenging being Palestinian right now, and you're the diaspora and you can't do much, and then you're here, and there's a lot of challenges, and then on top of that you have 70 something staff that rely on you to get it right every single day. And we're only 2 partners. So Haidar and I are 2 people. That's it. We run all of HL Food. We don't have senior management. We don't have, an office where, I don't know if you just seen recently, I made an office in my home because I'm desperate, This would be a more beautiful office. Yeah, but it's okay, But some people assume that we are, I don't know, like a whole team, and we're not. And it's okay. But I think that I was able to sustain everything and continue and whatever is by grounding myself and understanding that I am here as a Palestinian for a reason and they are there for a reason. The why, sitting and asking myself why, that was for months, that's the better half of it. Yeah. And the crying, and I slept on a couch for 2 months because I thought I didn't deserve a bed, and listen, it's been very, very, very hard. You see your children, our children are the same age. It's very challenging every single day to wake up and pretend everything you just saw the night before didn't happen, because you have to prepare yourself for it the next day, because you're going to see it again. The only thing that I felt, because my organs started shutting down, I started getting really sick, because that's kind of what happens when you're constantly in fight or flight mode. I had to stop watching. I had to, talk to God and understand that not everything is for us to watch for 15 months. And to find other ways to build up my resilience and to do my work and to do my job as a Palestinian. And that helped me regain my strength. And a lot of people said, why did you disappear for a long time? I've been, a little bit on and off of social media and not as vocal, is because I needed to survive. Yeah. And I'm not going to be another number to them, right? I'm going to survive.
You're responsible for 2 pretty girls. You're responsible for a family as well. You're co-responsible with Haider. You're responsible. You have 70 kids. 70 other kids in
And
the
their
company
families,
and
huh?
their families. Right?
Yeah.
I say the same thing when they're like, Mesa, I have 20 children. What do you mean? It's like, because I take care of my team as a
Yeah.
part of my family.
Yeah, for sure.
They are part of my family. Like, what do you need? Right? And what do you need goes through as well when the bombing in Beirut was happening, because a big chunk of our team is Lebanese.
Yeah.
It's like, sorry, I have to disconnect. They just gave us an ultimatum. It was like, go and hide, please be safe. And I was shitting my pants for everyone, because it's truly unfair. But again, what you're saying, and this is where resilience comes through, and I just want to take the positive out of that. I want to just take out light out of these lessons, because this is meant to be a platform for that, to just take these lessons. It's like, listen,
So much.
this happens,
Yeah.
but if you're a young creative, or if you're a young youngster, or someone just going through a difficult time, stuck, like, I don't know where to go, what to do, creative resilience doesn't necessarily specifically talks to art or design. It's about survival. It's about
100%.
reinventing yourself.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
about how you redefine your relationship with the people that you work with, the people that you love, right?
Yeah.
So, again, going back to this, I want to take the good lesson out of this, so the people that are listening us and watching us really understand what the platform of being able to influence is about, like you do. And it's just about, like you said, grounding yourself and counting your blessings and having perspective. Like, again, I'm not religious. I do respect very much and admire
Spiritual.
very much people that actually live their identity through their religion and what they believe. But like I say, and I learned this here, which is a beautiful expression. Alhamdulillah, I say Alhamdulillah every single day.
Every day.
Not because I'm religious, but just because of the power of the expression and what it means, right? So that's my brain is functioning.
Especially at the end of the day, you know, like when you're carrying all of that weight of the work, of the children, of the occupation, of Lebanon, of whatever. You know, listen, there is a lot of gory stuff happening in the world, but we're all fighting our own battles every day. You're talking about young people. You know, that's another thing that this resilience taught me in the last almost 2 years is, you know, I'm also not very religious, you know, but I have that inside of me, that iman, that spirituality. And I come back, like even last night, yesterday I had a really hard day, you know, with work, with the kids, with this. And I just sat there at the end of the night. And I remember Amelia wouldn't go to sleep. And I just sat there like a million times. And I'm like, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So I totally, you know, connect with that, you know, is grounding yourself at the end of the day. And I didn't have that a year. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really have that a year and a half ago, but a lot of good comes from it. Like Spread came from it, you know. I didn't want to launch Spread, my latest company, because I thought I was betraying my people, or I had to recalibrate my brain to think that if you don't launch Spread, well, you're not being, again, I was being kind to myself, but you owe it to yourself. You're not being very resilient, are you? You're kind of giving in. You worked all this time. You did all of this work. You did all of this R&D. You did all of this recipe development. You did this. You tried this. You met 7,000 suppliers. Yalla.
Start.
Go for it.
Start. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then this is where I finally accepted, which is not very Dubai, but, you know, you can start very tiny. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to launch a catering brand for
Bling,
just a few events if they come this season. It's okay. You did it. What you do with it next season, at least you'll be prepared. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, inshallah, like we have a lot of bookings, but I'm saying, inshallah, we're fully booked next season. But it's okay if we're not this season. It's okay. All good. And that is resilience. It's still doing it even though you really don't want to do it. You really don't want to do it. Khalas, it's not the time. Those noises, you know, those people in your head that are just like, khalas, wait, push it. It's okay. Khalas, don't do it. Focus on Maiz. Focus on Good Burger. Focus on this. Focus on that. And it's like, no, fuck it. I want to do it. I've been saying, how long have I been saying I wanted to do this? Khalas,
At least
I did
3
it.
years, I
Yalla,
remember.
I did it.
Yeah.
That's where you know, you're going through all the shit. You're going through all the hard days. It's freaking hard. This world right now is not the world that we grew up in. It's very different. It's very tough. So It's literally, I always say it, drown out the noise and keep going the next day. Yalla.
This is very interesting as lesson, and I'm always in awe of my own friends because I have it here in my nose. You know, I've seen it, and if they ask about you, like I can tell my experience with your experience through my eyes, which I think it's a beautiful exercise to do. Like when last time when I like, do you have a company that does this or does that catering or whatever, that I send a friend, whatever. Do you know her? Do you have time? You know? So you have to ground yourself. And to start, you have to start. And you owe it to yourself. Those are 3 massive, resilient, identity grounded statements that I don't think even you sort of consciously thought before, right? Like you lived through them, and you're just like, okay, let me form the idea to put it as a point, right? So I think it's fantastic, and I think it's a fantastic exercise to leave as a lesson for your girls, for my kids, for whoever is listening. How do you approach, now let's talk about like practical stuff, right? Because we need to be pragmatic as well. So how do you then approach with all this baggage, all this, you know, weight that we're carrying every day? How do you approach creative blocks or setbacks? Like when you were creating, because I know you, and I think you went through at least 5 iterations on brands, on spread. I don't know what the story behind it, but knowing you, I know you went through.
He knows me.
Like 5 iterations. No, let's do this. How you manage this?
How are you there, bro? Yeah, I mean, yeah, spread. Yeah, spread was really, I was working with the team, and I still work with them on different things, but it's just they're kind of like my people, you know, they're my Oscars, and they just get us, and they get my passion and my craziness, and they're my printing house, shout out Studio Paper, and Roy and Paul, and we're just, you know, we go from talking about all of these ideas, and they helped me just brainstorming, and I had no idea at all what direction the brand is going to go in, because I knew I wanted to do something different, because I didn't want to be like another fancy caterer that's doing the oysters and the tomahawk and doing all of this, and it's the same plating from like 1999. You know, I did want to do something different, but the only way to do that is to break it with like really unexpected branding. And Paul did really well in the beginning, but yeah, we went through 3 alterations. You're right. And I just leaned into it, you know. I ask a lot of questions, you know. I say, what will they think if they see it like this? And what does this mean? And why is this curved here? And where's the rest of the stuff? Like, where's this? Where's that? So, because I don't know everything. I know what I know, and you know what you know, and Paul knows what he knows. So, you do you, so I can do me. Because that's what I'm paying you for. You know what I mean? So that's a big part of my process. I learned that a long time ago when I worked in tech and I worked in startups and businesses, that we're not all meant to do everything. I should stay in my lane most of the time, and you should stay in your lane. And that's when we're gonna drive seamlessly. But when we all get tangled up in each other's stuff, it's going to be a mess, and it's going to cause bottlenecking, and it's really just going to blow everything up. So I learned that I should do what I'm good at. That's what's going to get me to be more creative. I finally, a few years ago, started calling myself a creative. I didn't know I was a creative. I thought I was a chef and an entrepreneur. That's it. I thought that's my job. I worked as a waitress since I was 15. Oh, I'm really strong at FOH. But the more I started growing my team and leaning into what I'm supposed to be doing, and Haidar is doing what Haidar is supposed to be doing, holy crap,
It changed.
I changed. I evolved.
So, yeah. So
did I answer the question? I don't know.
I'm gonna grab it in because it's a very interesting approach, because sometimes, usually when you're blocked, you step back
I
sold
was
your
gonna
stuff,
tell you that. Yeah, I
and then
used
you
to do
confront.
that. Yeah, no.
Now, your approach, which is very interesting, is I don't know, so I'm going to solve this block with 1,000 questions.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to rely on your experience and your knowledge to get me on stock.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you're paying me to serve you a fantastic experience. So I'm going to give you a fantastic experience. I'm very good at this. So I'm going to stick to what I'm at. I'm very good at brands. You're paying me to create your brand. It's my job to get you on stock. So it's the power of reliability. And it's the power of proper partnerships, right? It's
Which is very, very, very hard.
Yeah, very hard.
How hard is that? You run an agency, no?
Well, it's starting from the fact that we have to explain the concept of agency and that we are not an agency because of that specifically.
I don't blame you.
Like La Mesa, it's not defined by being an agency. We say studio, we say creative company, we say creative consultancy because we've been through this process so many times. And I've heard like you lawyers and you marketers are just basically con artists. You come and sign the contract, I'd get
And you
lost.
disappear. Yeah.
I was like, so I don't know who you've had the opportunity to work with, ma'am, but you haven't worked with us.
Yeah, but I've heard that a million times as well.
No, absolutely. So then this is why my clients become my friends and our friends. And they want to take my people. They're like, can I hire her? Can I hire here? Can I hire her? Because they understand the value of that. They understand the value like, I'm letting you do your job. I don't have a clue. I'm stuck. I don't know. I don't have idea of what I want. So at least let me tell you what you don't want. And then you'll discover what you love. Ah, great. So you have that removal on the blocking. Now moving into this, you're very strong in collaboration, and you're a very, very good leader. It's very hard to retention in staff in your industry it's super challenging.
Yeah.
Finding talent, regardless, in these regions in Dubai, it's super challenging and it's very complicated in any industry, but service 70 times more. Yeah. What strategies help you or open that space for you to continue to create and keep being a good human and a good leader with so much pressure, Dubai pressure? You have to blink pressure. It's or Ayla is sick, or Amir is sick, or I have to do. There's a lot of pressure for us.
Yeah,
right?
that's a loaded question. That's a tough question.
To,
because there's a lot of ways I can answer this without, diplomatically. But listen, there's one thing that is so important for anybody, whether it's a young entrepreneur or somebody who's been struggling for years and years, whether it's in Dubai, it's in New York, it's in Lebanon, it's, wherever you are. You've heard it a million times, it's all bullshit. One thing I realized, we were talking about this off air a minute ago, but it just, first of all, you don't start a business and then 365 days later, you're a big bad baller, right? That is very rare, okay? And it might look like it otherwise online, but that's all bullshit. You don't know their P&L. You don't know what it looks like. You don't know anything about their day-to-day.
That Lamborghini is rented.
You don't know. Yeah. Gifted, whatever, okay? But it takes years to build brands. It takes years to build that strength within your relationship with your growth pattern, right? You need to be confident and you need to be comfortable with what is happening, in your traction. The moment you do that, like we decided we were going to be a company that's bootstrapped. Okay. 6-7 years later, maybe it was a bit too long. We could have injected some cash. We could have done this. We could have done that. We could have scaled. We could have opened more. But a lot of things happened in those 6-7 years. We had to get comfortable with our organic growth. We had to get comfortable with having, let's say, only 2 locations. Whereas everything on the outside shows you that, no, you should have 6-7 locations. You should get millions of dollars worth of investment. This Dubai Bling that you're talking about, it's all bullshit. After a few years, it just clicked. The P&L just clicked. Well, Whether it was JLT paying itself off, whether it was my catering that was killing it in the background that nobody knew about, but the numbers were numbering. The math was mathing. And then I didn't give a shit anymore. I didn't care about you, didn't care about this, didn't care about that. All the noise, I was finally able to silence it, okay? Whereas Haider has been doing that since day one. We're very, very different people. You know, I'm very passionate and emotional, and I've been working in business ever since I was very, very young. So I'm driven by that. For him, he's
super analytical.
Yeah, he's very analytical, and he's been working in business on the very corporate level. Like he manages, I don't know how many hundreds of staff, right? So we both approach things very differently. But for him, it's just like, yeah, it's all gravy, baby. It's all good. Everything's always all good. It's fine. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Whereas for me, it's like, what do you mean? Like, there's always fire under my ass. Like, what do you mean, who cares? Like, what do you mean? We gotta do this. So finally, I've come around. Finally, I've calmed down. Finally, I've been able to say, you know what? I need an area manager. I need a marketing manager. I need a catering manager. So I'm gonna go and freaking find them, and I'm gonna hire them, or someone's gonna go do it for me. It took me years and years and years of understanding I deserve that.
Yeah.
I don't have to be working 80 hours a day. Like both of my daughters, I don't regret this, okay? I had them, okay? I went back to work after 10 days. The first one, I went back to work after 5, 6, 7 days. I was back in JLT. I had just opened JLT though. So yeah, no. I mean, no. Doesn't have to be like that. You could still be a successful entrepreneur working all the time, but you don't have to be like killing yourself. You need that, unit around you.
Yeah, you need to create that space. So you remove the noise in order to just buffer a little bit the pressure.
100%.
You need to understand how to remove the noise, and you found it after you understood that things were going. Like,
just put your head down and work. The thing is, we get so distracted now because of social media. And because of the Dubai Bling, and because of whatever, not even Dubai, it's everywhere now. Everybody wants more. You think I have to be an entrepreneur, I have to have a Lamborghini, I have to go to the Maldives once a year, twice a year. Like, you don't have to have any of that. That's what you have created as your priority. You need your kids to be safe. You need to be healthy. You need to be happy. Work out, because that's going to really help. Eat good food. Cook every once in a while. And make money. Yes, you need to make money.
Of course, this is what you're working for.
Obviously, you need to make money. But you don't need all the other... Do you even enjoy those things? Do you even like it? Is that your plan? Is that how you saw happiness? So yeah, I'm learning that I've never wanted a Lamborghini, right? But there are things that I thought that I wanted. I thought I wanted a really big house. I don't know.
It's too hard to clean.
Yeah. So when you found all of these people around you, and you've built your team, and you've built that confidence, and you need to put your head down and focus on your craft. That's the thing I feel like Dubai's missing a lot. Everybody wants to network and do this and party and everything. You need to spend time. My biggest thing is why I think Maiz is successful is because I'm obsessed with Maiz. I still am. It's not about I eat maize every day. Okay, I do. I don't care. I do. But like, I'm obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with it, and I'm obsessed with the community, the culture, the brand, and I think that's what keeps you going.
I think so. You said something that's super powerful, and it's not Dubai, it's the rest of the world, but this is just this networking culture right now. So I always say to my partners, like, we have to go out more and we have to meet more people. It's like, do you want me to be networking or you want me to be working? Because I can. But if I go networking and do events, it's like, I'm not working, I'm not talking to my people, I'm not leading my people, because I am the one that needs to have the answers. I'm the enabler. So some people will call me the CEO of. I'm not. And I introduce myself as just the guy that keeps the lights on, right? I'm a hinge, like yourself.
100%.
You are in the center of HL. And Maiz, Luma's cakes, spread, and you have a good burger. And everyone comes to you for answers, right? That pressure, and you put it beautifully, you don't diffuse the pressure by yourself. And that's great. That self-made crap is just it's just a media lie. Self-made millionaire, self-made entrepreneur, self-made billionaire, whatever it is, you're never self-made because you're never alone. You're never alone. So what I'm thinking about this, what I'm taking of this, of our conversation is, and it's great to just rediscover, see you through a different lens, right? It's not like, because I know you and I know you very well, right? But see you through a different lens. It's like I learned, but I can be creative and I can be resilient and creative and keep my identity by relying better on people, by trusting that my people will do exactly as I led them to. It's just, you don't lead, and this is something we have, again, a culture. We don't have a style of delivery or the super high bar of delivery because I deliver very well, but because we have a culture. And if I go, my team would say like, this slide doesn't have a period, put it. Or this slide is misaligned, or this delivery is not good. It's just a thing. Excellence is a thing that it's part of the DNA, and same happens to you. So that's how you diffuse the pressure. Yeah. Now, with the 70 children that you have, you need, again, to inspire them and enable them and stuff. So how do you think about, how do I frame this question? How do you foster that resilience that you have in your DNA, your identity? How do you imprint it? Because not everyone is the same thing, right? Not everyone is extrovert or, like you said, fire in the ass. What do you mean? Not everyone is super analytical. Or just people that they just do thing and they just move out. Yeah. How do you foster that resilience in your team?
F&B is very different than when I used to work in the office world, right? Or you can call it the corporate world or the startup world, whatever. It's very, very different. You have people from all walks of life, different education levels, different cultural levels, women, men, age, whatever. So it took me a really long time to realize that I could sit here and give him hugs and cuddles and kisses and you're the best. Hey, you're amazing. You're going to do great. 3 years later, he's still in the same exact place that he is. So me as an entrepreneur when I was 23 versus me as an entrepreneur now, and I won't say my age, I've also had to grow to understand that some people don't want to be you, Luma, and that's okay. You know, some people are happy exactly where they are, and they're going to give what they want to give, and they're still a massive, in that line, you know, he might be the most important guy in that line, but he's exactly where he's supposed to be.
What was the name of the head chef JLT when you opened? That was my friend. That he used to love Lorenzo as well. I can't remember his name. I have his face in my head, but I can't remember his name. The first chef you have in JLT, Joe. Oh my God, like this. He was like in his place. Stuff came to him. Yeah. It was very, 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 very particular guy, but.
Very particular.
Right? Everyone.
Yeah, very particular. And that's a great example of that. But I mean, that's very, very important that you have to recognize that. So you have to incentivize in different ways. You know, when they say love language, there should be a thing called work language, you know, where my work language is, I really want an amazing staff meal. You know, I want really good staff meals every day. I prioritize, like right now we're using a system where we're doing a lot of surveys and we're trying to, because mental health and work-life balance and all of that, it's part of my DNA. Like that's something that is what I built as a foundation. And I hate America right now, but when I was working there, it taught me a lot back then. Now I hear it's the workforce, it's a piece of shit in terms of how it treats the labor and the laws and stuff. But generally speaking, like our rights were really, really important. And it was really important that I was treated amazing every single day. And it was important that I was paid on time and whatever. So I'm not going to lie. I did take that into everything that I was doing. It was part of me because I was working from such a young age. So it was really part of me. So there's a saying now when we hire everybody that goes, you know, we all shit, we all shower, we all shave. I learned that from a British friend 14 years ago when I moved here. And we say that to everybody. And I still perform that. I was just telling you, you know, like Saturday night we were having a tough weekend. We were busy. It was really good. It was a good reason. And me and Haidar had to work in Dubai Hills. And, you know, you saw me running food. You see me waiting tables. You see me on the line. You see me as the hostess for 4 or 5 nights. That shows the team that you're always going to stand with them. That's a big motivator as well. I had 2 of my staff come and hug me that night and say, thanks for coming. In my mind, I'm like, huh? What do you mean, thanks for coming?
Because the usual is if you're the owner or the leader, you're detached and you're disconnected. You're way up there.
Yeah, it was a big opener for us as well. Like, I hadn't gone and worked an evening shift in a few months. You know, I hope in my mind because I'm sometimes very hard on myself. I was like, have I let them down? You know, I'm there every day from 8 to 2, but should I come in? I know I shouldn't, like, okay, but I'm just saying, like, do they feel like I haven't been there? You know, so these are things we do multiple events every year for the staff. I'm doing a ladies' night for my managers. We are changing the cultures. We're changing things as well. Like, for example, now, listen, even from my country, it's not common in every country, by the way, the West as well, where women are all leaders. It's very uncommon. So that respect thing, you know, our daughters are gonna, you know, they're gonna break that through. Yeah. So I've done something consciously while I'm running the show every day. I have all women in power.
Yeah.
Our marketing manager's a girl. Our area manager's a girl, female, sorry. Our catering manager's a female. My executive chef is a female. Yeah. So this is going to change them, and it's going to help them as well.
Exactly. And this is how you start breaking the cycles, right? Yeah. By, like, inspiring by doing. Like, roll up your sleeves, get down, get dirty.
Right away.
Not with them, but because you're a part of them. So they need to see that this is ingrained not because it was created, but because it's you. So it's represent as well. And something that's very important again, like what we do, same thing. We are mostly women. And at a point we were 99.5 female creatives and myself. And I've said this, I grew up with 8 wonderful, super strong female figures.
You're an exception. Yeah, mashallah. I always use you as an exception.
But this is exactly why we need to start doing things differently.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm a girl's dad, right? But I have
your mom. You have an amazingly strong mother.
Exactly.
You know your sister.
So you have to inspire. You have to. And we've touched that. But before we close, and I know we could keep talking for days and end, but our time is limited. But you've touched already. I'm going to segue into the next point. You are very good. You became very good at inspiring people by doing stuff, right? So how do you help others through this work-love language, which is a beautiful concept as well? How do you use those? How do you identify those spaces in which you can foster that creative resilience in them?
Yeah, my love language, my work language.
Yeah. Work-love language.
My work-love language is when I can see hustle and grit. Haidar always says, you're gonna get us in trouble. Like, if you think everyone is the next, you know, superstar. I call them superstars because in the office world, I call it the office world because it's not all corporate, by the way. But the office world, you know, I was a superstar my whole life. I was in sales and biz dev. So I was always achieving, and I was known as the superstar. And I thought, oh my God, if I can just spot superstars, the hustle, the glitter in their eye, then they're gonna change their own life. They're gonna be amazing. And you know what? They're gonna really help us as well. Okay, so first thing I realized, okay, we're not all superstars. Okay, fine, I got that now, fine. We have to keep the work wheels going, right? But when I recently, in the last year and a half, I would be having interviews with these females and these guys, and I was like, I felt something, I swear to God, and I'll say this because you're my close friend, I would just get these freaking gut feelings. And you look at the CV, it has nothing to do with what I'm hiring for, okay? But they did their research. They know me. They know Haidar. They know Maiz. They order all these. Like, our area manager, she was so, like, on the verge of, like, corporate F&B before we found her. Okay, and we sat on the phone. We talked for 40 minutes, and she was like, "I order Maiz all the time." Like, and I'm like, I thought she was gonna tell me that she's worth like $1 million dirhams a year, and that, you know, she needs like 2 holidays a year. Like, I was like, she's too amazing for us. Like, she's never gonna accept us, you know? And it just clicked. The same with Hannah, our catering manager now. She's young, but she was coming to interview for another role. And I was like,
I have this. Do you like it? You hire for skill. We hire for skill.
Yeah.
Not because it's for attitude. Sorry, not for skill. Skill you learn.
Exactly. And now she's killing it, and she's in 2 months she's growing so much, and she's and I can't imagine us without her, and I hope it works out, right? I'm also not like married to the idea that we're all together forever. And then we just found an amazing young person who just moved to Dubai with zero Dubai experience. Okay, and she's cool, and she's trendy, and she's hip, and she's creative, and she just is getting it done. She wants to do stuff. So the thing that I always lead with in all my interviews is I want to do cool shit. So do you want to do it or you don't want to do it? We hired an adorably amazing driver called Muhammad. The first thing I asked him, I was like, Muhammad, we're all girl bosses. I hate saying that, but literally, we're all girl managers. We're all females. Can you handle that? Like, there's no men here. Like, maybe you'll talk to Haidar every once in a while, but the leader's managing the drive. Yeah. He's like, yeah, of course, I'm cool with that. I'm like, okay. So that's how, I lean into how I feel, and I spend maybe 2 hours in an interview. Haidar's always like messaging me, what the hell are you doing? Why are you sitting on table 13 for 3 hours? I'm like, we just click. I don't know. He's like, Luma, you can't make best friends with everyone. I'm like, I'm not.
But that's how you've grown. But this is why people want to come into Luma's world, because like want a taste of that, because you see it from the outside from the bling, outside of that it's like, and it you have this aura, and Mais has this aura, and Luma's cake had this aura with the cool shit thing in the DNA. It's cool.
But it's not just for me. Like, I see it in them when I'm having that interview. You go and let's open, like with Shauna, my executive chef. She was supposed to come and just be the executive pastry chef of Luma's Cakes, and we were supposed to grow Luma's Cakes. She was my missing piece, like kind of my sous chef that I was looking for. We launched Tortaria together. We launched spread together. We launched a secret delivery brand no one knows about. They don't have to know about. We launched it. She actually launched that almost by herself. So, like, when she goes and becomes a famous pastry chef, which she should, she still has all of that experience that, I'm sorry, but we gave to her. The infrastructure gave to her. It allowed her to do that. You go to a lot of platforms. You go to a lot of jobs. They don't let you do anything. They say, you're this number, stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And they believe that if you stay in that lane, that's how the business will just get better and better. But I don't agree.
Luma, again, I could spend days with you.
Me too.
Days. And I'm so grateful and appreciative of this space and your time and your wisdom and your energy and everything. And I'm so happy to have you here. We usually close with everyone with a round of quick and dirty questions. Fire questions.
Okay, fine.
What's your go-to activity for building creativity and creative energy?
Eating. Going out and eating and talking.
Mais. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
Listen,
Palestinian food. It's my soul food as well.
But I remember this wonderful restaurant that was in Beirut called Frida, and it's the only time that I've lived everywhere. And it's the only time where I turned to Rana, my wife, is like, it's the only place where fusion is fusion, because it was a Lebanese Mexican stuff. You're the Palestinian Mexican
Maybe one day, yeah.
What's the best creative advice you've ever received?
Best creative advice I ever received is to be creative. Allow yourself to be creative. Like I said it earlier, I didn't know I was creative, but when I started to think, oh my God, you are creative. To get out of the box that you have to be a certain creative to actually let your creativity grow.
Wonderful. I love this question. My team wanted to remove it, but I kept it. What's your proudest mompreneur moment?
That I actually was able to open JLT. Like Ayla, came 5 weeks early. I was living in City Hospital for 5 weeks. My doctor said, you're crazy, go open it. And I opened it. And then she came out the next day. And she's fine, she's amazing, But yeah, that I was able to actually open JLT, that was a very, very challenging time. I was just becoming a mom and I was able to open it with her still safe and healthy and everything. And
I say it, and I always say it, I think mompreneurs is not boxing someone in just to diminish it. It's just putting an extra badge of honor. I said like,
Yeah.
because we had a wonderful friend also here in one of the conversations we had, and she gave me a beautiful line about creativity. It's like, if you can create life, you can create anything. And that's what being a mom means, right? We help a little bit, but that's what being a mom. So that's why mompreneur for me is such a powerful expression. You're a mompreneur, right? So it's and my last one, but again, a little bit more practical. One creative tool you can't live without to handle all these people, handle all these ideas, handle all that fire in your ass. One creative tool. What's that?
If you're asking me honestly, what tool can we not function without? It's the WhatsApp. The thing you hate the most as well, the WhatsApp groups, right?
Yeah.
You can't. It's the best form of communication. Voice notes.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I didn't have voice notes in 2024, 2025, I wouldn't get shit done.
I say I have.
What's yours?
It's I have
Technical?
I have multiple. Lately, I've been relying a lot on artificial intelligence
Of course,
tools.
yeah.
Because it's just I can jump higher,
But
punch
still,
harder.
voice notes go.
Listen, I have someone I love in my team. She became my right hand in a bunch of things, and she sent me a load of voice notes.
Oh no, you can't. You gotta know when to use them.
Every time.
No.
She loves them. She's like, let me be me. I was like, okay, you
That
be
song,
you.
Why Can't I Be Me?
Yeah, you be you.
No, I think voice notes are very, very important. WhatsApp's important. AI, I mean, obviously we use it on a daily basis, but CRM is really huge. Being best friends with a CRM solution, especially now we're like big caterers. But yeah, communication, anything communicative that you need to keep you going every day.
Today, Luma has shown us that creative resilience is not just about bouncing back. It's not about just existing or just following trends. It's about living your identity, living what you believe and what you inspire with purpose and passion and beauty and relentless creativity. Again, it's a pleasure to have you all here. It's a pleasure to have you here. Such a wonderful time, such a wonderful conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will link everything to all the 95 businesses that you have. So that's my Is Good Burger. You're available. If you're in Dubai, you have to enjoy this. Thank you to Luma.
Thank you.
See you next time.